The opioid epidemic cost our nation more than $500 billion in just 1 year. According to new figures from the White House, the true cost of the country's drug crisis in 2015 was $504 billion. That's 6 times larger than the most recent government estimate. Most of the cost was attributed to health care and criminal justice spending, along with lost productivity. And that brings us to our special report this evening, fighting the opioid epidemic day and night. An elite Hartford County task force is gaining international recognition for its progressive approach of helping addicts while gaining the intel it needs to take down the dealers. Tonight, WJZ gets rare access to the front lines of this fight.
Put your hands up now!
Dramatic moments on Baltimore City streets. WJZ cameras on the front lines with Hartford County's elite opioid task force as they move in on a suspected drug dealer.
Out of the car! Out of the car! Out of the car! Go down.
Once in custody, officers search the suspect's house.
Police search warrant! Got you. Police search warrant! Police search warrant!
This squad is made up of the best of the best. Officers with specialized training and full federal authority to cross city, county, and state lines to go wherever they need to get some of the most dangerous criminals off the streets.
Our main objective is to do what we did tonight, is to track it down to the dealers that are providing the heroin and fentanyl to our citizens up in Hartford County, especially the ones that have lost their lives.
Captain Lee Dunbar and his unit work day and night in a never-ending battle against the opioid epidemic sweeping Maryland and the country. This year, in Hartford County alone, 320 people overdosed on opioids. 77 of them died. Overdoses are up 73% compared to last year.
We're here in the city, miles away from Hartford County. Why here? What happens here that affects you?
Well, what happens here, this is where the vast majority of our heroin and fentanyl is coming from. The majority of our citizens that are suffering from this opioid addiction are coming down here to the city on a daily basis.
WJZ gets rare access, spending 2 nights with the task force. In addition to the bust in Baltimore City, our cameras capture one along I-95 in Hartford County. Traffic stops like this are the backbone of major investigations into the ever-growing problem of opioids on our streets. In this case, a vehicle goes into Baltimore City. A deal is apparently made, and drugs are brought back here to the streets of Hartford County.
In plain view, this is a packet with gel caps.
This death right here, this can kill someone.
And depending on the user, maybe even partial of one of those capsules could kill them.
For many of these officers, this is a personal mission. Almost everyone on the task force has been touched by the opioid epidemic.
My family has not been immune from it either. We have guys where it's hitting very, very close to home in our agency, and it becomes personal for us because we're responding out to every one of these overdoses.
These officers are gaining international attention for their aggressive, innovative approach.
We want to send a message up in Hartford County. You're dealing drugs to our citizens. You're killing our citizens with the drugs you're putting in their hands down here. We will come down here and lock you up and prosecute it to the full extent of the law.
The BBC and Netflix are now featuring segments on the game-changing work of this unit.